Orthoplex64, how's it going? Welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 314. Alright, for today's status update, there are once again no updates on the anticipated appeal from the October 14th. What has it been now? October, November, December, January, February, March. So it'll be almost 6 months. Wow. Since the win. It's still, I think they have appealed, but there's been no even official word from the court. So I don't know, maybe they rescinded it or something. I'll find out in the future. There is still, I think, a sponsored block type available in the store. There's no more long form videos in the works because I've been scrambling to get a short form video out every day. That has succeeded a bit in getting the views up, although the revenue is still not quite up. There's always, whenever I start publishing a bunch of new videos, the views go up initially, and then they actually go down a bit after that. It's just how the algorithm works, I guess. All right. So tonight we will continue work on the block mining simulation game. And I merged in the changes and pushed them. So the current primary objective is to work toward getting multiplayer working. And the main feature is getting client-side multiplayer working with the split screen. And the main task at hand for that right now is fixing issues with the chunk loading model. So client works. Unit test works. Okay, last night I think I made this function to create a random cuboid. And there's one detail that I think I hadn't done. Shoseki says, evening. How's it going? Going well. Going well. Excellent. not being employed is addictive? You think so? I guess for people who are used to being domesticated as an employee, there's definitely withdrawal. How long? I think you said it was last week or something you got laid off. But it's absolutely a great thing to have control over your time. I guess for some people, I think I've heard, well, it can go either way. Some people, they're immediately lost and have without direction, people telling them what to do. And then other people for like 2 weeks, so like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then after that, they go totally nuts because they gotta get back to some structure. But I guess depending on your career, it may like just be like a much needed vacation. All right, let's see if that works. Didn't take vacation while I was employed. How long was your work streak? How long were you continuously in the grind before that? Two years, 3 months. Just trying to dig myself out of financial trouble. And that's unfortunate. Hopefully your financial trouble is not too that bad. I know with from all the for a while, I actually haven't seen any of those in a while, but what is it, Gordon Ramsay? Or Dave Ramsey. I think Ramsey somewhere in there. The guy who does like financial help. I think he's a religious guy, and you call in. There's all these people say they have like tons of debt. They ask for advice, and he's like, just eat beans and rice, and work a lot and get jobs. That worked here to cast its class. Okay, that worked. Never struggled to find things to work on. Just the making money part. That's a challenge. Yeah, same here. It's there's tons of work to do. Everybody wants you to do work, but nobody wants to pay you. That's what makes everything so challenging. And on a macro level, it almost seems like if you just think about the top level amount of money that is available to make in the economy, it seems like the percentage of money that exists that is makeable is going down. Like the only way to make money now is to just own something, own a big asset, and then it goes up at a massive rate, earn interest. It's a way to just make money and with doing nothing. Oh, nice. I just made some money. A slice of pie for thee on this day of pie. Oh yeah, or is it? This day of it's almost, yeah, pie days in 10 days, isn't it? It's March 14th, I think. Thank you for the $10 to James Goodrich. Problem with a society like that is the value isn't actually being created. Yeah, it's and when you encourage that kind of thing, like you're discouraging people from producing value. So there's the people who actually do want to produce value, they end up getting like filtered out. What assets come to mind when you say that? Basically any assets in a high inflation environment. Basically all assets. That's like when inflation is really out of control, people just say, give me anything, put my money in anything that's not money. And he's also 314 of the stream. Oh yeah, you got me there. Thank you very much. Day half Dao. There's too many days to celebrate. Problem with a society like that, its value isn't actually being created. Yeah, I think it's an accurate quote. Reminds me of the 1984 chapter I was reading last night. Interesting. I haven't read it, but it's interesting, perhaps foretelling that comes to mind. If you want to make money in the long term, buy shares of Brando. My font's really small. Brando. Exclamation mark. Not sure what that is. In society, you need people to actually do things, fix things, make things. That all represents creating value. You can't just have a society where people push money around. Yep, that's where we're going. A society that we push money around faster and faster. We never create anything. You can raise the rent, but it doesn't make the house better. Brando is like Gatorade drink in the Idiocracy movie. Oh, okay. It's got electrolytes. Nice. Sounds good. I want it. thinking about the flow control between these different states of loading. Meanwhile, others can never save enough to get a mortgage. Yeah, I think the math on, I think there's like the absurdity of our situation is starting to catch up with a lot of stuff. Messages were filtered. Oh, yeah, that makes me, when conversations like this get filtered, that makes me even more conspiracy theory minded. They don't want us talking about these very important societal things. But so much of the unaffordability crisis can't go on forever. I think what is happening is there's been so much like government waste and mismanagement. It's going to get to a point where municipalities and governments are running out of money, so they're going to start they're going to raise taxes and invent all these weird schemes to basically just try and steal private assets as much as possible. But they're so financially incompetent that they're going to try to do this super quickly, and they're just going to go bankrupt before they can basically rob the average person through taxes and stuff like that. And then, so if you can kind of ride it out and fight them off, keep your assets for a few more years, then they're going to have to look elsewhere. The bond market is going to punish them. Countries will get bailed out. Some countries will be winners and others won't. What if something catastrophic but silent happened? The moment Bitcoin is tethered to actual currency. I think when I've come to view things perhaps instantly, there's a lot more money in the system. I think there are kind of I think the intuition is to see all these things as scams and Ponzi's to one way to hypothesize about Bitcoin is that they would get everyone to buy Bitcoin, the government would be behind Bitcoin and get everyone to buy Bitcoin, and then they would just rug pull Bitcoin and it goes instantly to zero. I think it's possible it could go to zero someday, but I think the more profitable thing, because if you, let's say it came out that the government rug pulled Bitcoin, and then it came out that the government was behind it, then everyone would get mad at the government, and there'd be lawsuits and stuff. I think the much more profitable way, for Bitcoin and also every other financial scam out there, is in creating an informational asymmetry, and then just creating churn and news for the liquidity on it. So Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies, there's constantly news about Bitcoin's gonna go to $1 billion. It's buy it now, and then there's all this hype. There's a hype cycle around Bitcoin's could be good, and then for another 6 months, people Bitcoin, you're a moron. You deserve to lose everything because you bought. What did you expect buying Bitcoin, noob? And then it'll crash. And if you're like on the inside and you have foreknowledge of that, and you can like, or even if you're behind the hype cycle, like if you're a millionaire, you buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin and then spend $100,000 creating a bunch of news to drive the price up or down. Then you can make money off that, which, like, of course, is extremely unethical and probably illegal. But I think this is the more likely thing with everything, and also even I think that's happening in like every market now. It's not necessarily the most profitable thing. It's not necessarily rug pulls or like theft. You need a plausible way to basically take the other person's money and then blame them and say it's like it's your fault. You're a speculator. You deserve zero sympathy. Just like with housing. Housing has been crazy here in Canada, and then they brought in this. I don't know if you saw it if you're in the U.S., but they like. I still don't fully grasp the understanding of it, but we have these like Aboriginal like land claims over basically all of Canada, and then they recently decided to like the federal government basically gave away Vancouver city, like the entire all private property is like technically they say the 8 Aboriginal groups, this specific Aboriginal group has a claim on the title to like all property in Vancouver, which is like a completely that has real impacts for people's like they're not going to come take it from you tomorrow, but it means that like if you want to get financing, a bank will not loan money if the title is in dispute of a property, because if there's like a lien or something and get in, they'll say like get this resolved in the court and then come back to us. But the fact that the government has now just like thrown this curveball and made any kind of financing, throwing that into question, now like there's an implied loss of value, because if you can't, I guess if you sell it now, you can't sell it to someone on finance, so that decreases the buyer pool, and then there's like potential litigation in the future. And so if you can like create circumstances like that where you build a market and then like manipulate the market using policy and stuff, and then in like 10 years can get resolved, and then meanwhile like the price, you force the price down 20%, so you can like pocket that 20%, and then later you make the problem go away, and then your asset goes up 20% immediately, and you can't really nobody blames you. When do you project World War III will start? My understanding of the geopolitics of World War III is it started basically around 2014, when that airliner was downed in the Donbass region, and it's kind of been slowly ramping up from there, and significantly ramped up in around COVID, and then it's been ramping up even more, starting with the bombing of Iran back 6 months ago with Midnight Hammer, and then I guess in the last few days it kind of almost seems like we're like it's a real World War III. Like it's not even like a joke anymore. If you tried looking for jobs in finance, if you know SQL, it's a pretty nice field. Building Excel sheets that never die, in loan trust structures, balance sheet, accounting, and treasury. Actually, originally, before I became a software engineer, I wanted to become a quantitative analyst, and that's what I thought I would do. And then, even as far back as like 2009 or so, actually, I actually worked for a Forex market maker, writing software for their This was just an internship, but when I saw how the sausages were made there, originally I kind of wanted to do like independent retail trading, trying to do like automated trading, but I guess maybe that could be something I could still do, but at the same time, I wouldn't really consider it that much better than a regular software dev job. It probably would be basically the same, and probably still quite competitive. From what I've known, most of those places are like super boring and old-fashioned. You got to wear a suit and tie, work regular 9 to 5. And the pay is usually below market. It's less than like the flashy companies, Amazons and the FAANG companies. That's my understanding of it. Eating popcorn, staying for a little. Sounds good. My last got censored. Guess I'm done for the night. Well, that's unfortunate. Now we'll never know what you had to say. That's disappointing. That people are getting sent. We're not talking about anything bad. Come on, AI, stop censoring us. Good evening. How are you today? I'm pretty good. Making a little bit of progress every day. How are you doing? What are you coding for? I'm working on a terminal-based video game where you can simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. And I'm currently working on a chunk loading module. Doing good. Starting to work on a few projects I've been holding on for a few years. Very satisfying. Yeah, I've heard like this agentic vibe coding thing is kind of good. Now for like projects, like the kind of projects that you would never bother working on. But if you can just like describe it to an AI and then get an AI to crank on it, and then come back and like check and see if it's any good. Problem is, once you start thinking conspiratorially, it seems to warp your perception. Once people start to believe BS, they're more suspicious, more susceptible to believing BS, more BS. Well, that's the problem, though. What if you're continually shown BS? It's basically I think the general term is the trust dividend. If people have more trust in society, then they can, you don't have to spend money on security cameras and stuff when you trust each other. But when nobody trusts anybody, then you gotta pay for law enforcement and security cameras and background checks. What if it's right, but they're in denial? Yeah. Well, that's random. It says concurrent viewers 24 and 17. It said 14 a minute ago. Ignorance is bliss. It's true. I guess it can be bliss. Sometimes people are just they're ignorant, but they don't realize they're ignorant but miserable, and they don't realize they're miserable. Misery is due to someone else's behavior. Cool project. Thank you. Apple released a budget MacBook for $800. Yeah, they've been they're decreasing the value of their brand, diluting the value of their brand by putting in all these budget products. They're no longer a luxury brand. They're a cheap brand for poor people. Thanks for the answer. I think you would find, as you said, it's not glamorous. It can be boring but comfortable. Work from home as a treasury analyst, 100K salary. Small CEO bank opportunity to focus hobbies in life. Work practically 30 hours a week full time. Yeah, those are I don't know if it's I guess it depends if it's government job or, I mean, those jobs exist, but at the same time, like, it's so easy to, like, especially in the economy today, to think like, oh, I'll just get one of those jobs. It'll be easy. Then you end up investing massive amounts of time and money trying to chase that job, and you can't find one. So you take your second best pick, and then you get laid off in 6 months. I guess if you have a job like that, especially in this environment, you should hold on to it. I would never buy a Mac's product, but family sold a Mac product. What's up, Robert? How are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm slowly grinding away, slowly making progress. I raised $10 today toward the World Domination Fund. I've been getting I got the channel views up a little bit more with some shorts videos recently. How are you doing? Keep going, sir. I will. Thank you. Interesting. It looks like the concurrent viewers went up. I think it hit 27 or something, which is that's the highest it's been in a while. So it seems like that's the main thing that's necessary for it to get channel views up. I just have to post a lot of shorts. Make that $30. Oh wow! Thank you very much to Game Dev Chat for the $20, $20 US too. Thank you very much. YouTube knows what it's doing, gamifying the chat, seeing all those, giving people all those bright colors whenever someone super chats. Maybe because you released a video at the same time the stream started. Did I? I've been putting out one shorts video every day. I think that the video the short I put out today, I released it I think around noon or something, so it's around 12, probably 12 hours ago. But I think it's because I just have a lot of shorts. So when there's just more content coming out on the stream, it seems to lift up the whole channel, which I guess makes sense. They don't want to give views to dead channels. But it's kind of annoying because I guess the thing I have to do is keep posting a lot, even if it's low quality, because I need low quality posts to get views on the high quality stuff. But then if I'm constantly making low quality posts, that consumes time from the higher quality content, which is arguably better and much more durable. Like you're doing well. Same here. I have a question. Do you ever use Nano instead of Vim? The only time I use Nano is I think when I try to edit. What is it? I think sometimes merge conflicts. There's a few things where when I try to edit it, the default editor is set to Nano for some reason. I think that happens with merge conflicts. But other than that, I try to not use Nano. Okay, that lets me specify the max number of pending chunks Okay. So what I want to start doing is what are your hobbies other than dev? Honestly, I mean in the last over time, my like hobbies, other things I spend time on, I guess. As time goes by, my time has just been filtered more and more into like work more, try to make more videos, try to work on not getting evicted. The whole eviction fiasco process, that's taken up way more resources than I expected in terms of time. I mean, it was revealing about the state of society and governments and municipalities and activist organizations and stuff. So I guess honestly, the best reflection of my hobbies / work, which I kind of consider the same thing, is all the stuff on my YouTube channel. So the stuff like the videos about like semiconductor analysis and stuff. That's the totality of all that has been pretty much all consuming, trying to build my business. The years of the hundreds of blog posts that I wrote that nobody reads. Which my priority has been like wake up, try to work all day until I get enough money to pay rent and food. And then once I have some spare money that I can like, get out and get more classical hobbies and stuff. But ever since, I guess there was a blip after COVID. I had a little bit more spare money. After COVID, stimulus pushed up everything in the economy. But ever since then, there's just less and less money that comes in from everywhere. So I got to work more. I got to fight more landlords to keep my apartment. So less and less time for hobbies. Fun hobbies, anyway. So this is running in a separate thread. Hope everything goes well. The rent eviction. So we won the rent eviction. I think something like half the tenants just left the building. So there's the original N13 evictions have all been dismissed. But then the landlord immediately stated their intention to appeal. And I got some papers due in my mail slot, but I have not had any official confirmation that the appeal has actually been filed, and it's almost like 6 months now. I guess on the 14th it'll be coming up 6 months since they supposedly filed an appeal, but I haven't seen any. There's no case numbers. I haven't seen any communication from the court. I emailed the court because it's a whole process. So there's like almost everyone in the building is named on it, and then I'm also on there. It's a separate party, and the tenant board is involved. So it's like the the divisional court is involved, the lower court, the tenant board is involved, and then 30-something tenants are on the case under this like free legal clinic. And then I'm also one of the parties on the case. An appeal on your rent eviction? Yeah. So we let's see. There was a total of 4. If you want the full details, I have there's a 2-hour long video. If you check the long form video, it's on my channel. There's a 2-hour long video that goes through the entire process. Anyway, there was a total of 4 different hearings that were scheduled. The first one got canceled, and then they rescheduled to a sooner hearing called an adjudicative case conference, where it was just a hearing between me and the landlord. Then they canceled that, pulled me into a massive hearing with the rest of the building. So like all 30 people were there, including the free legal clinic. So we did that adjudicative case conference. That was like, to answer the question, should the cases be combined? Do they have facts in common? And then the conclusion was yes. So then we had the first N13 merits hearing in, I forget, that was in the middle of summer. And then the second, because there was tons of, we went through all this evidence with the pipes and the plans, and expert witnesses testified and stuff. And then we had the second N13 merits hearing, October 6th. And then, about half of the cases got dismissed on a technicality of not properly delivering compensation checks. The second half got dismissed on the basis of not meeting the merits. So they had to. There was 3 different like clauses in this thing. We only had to prove one of them. They had to prove it was necessary. They had to prove that renovations are necessary, that they're so extensive they require vacant possession. And then I forget the other third criteria. And they, according to the tenant board, they said they did not prove any of them. So we only needed to win on one account, but we run on all 3, which basically meant the justification was totally bogus. So it was a pretty, solid win, I think. And then you asked about a deadline for the appeal. There is a deadline for the appeal. It's like a couple of weeks or a few weeks or something, and they appealed like almost immediately. I think. I think they did. So they submitted some papers through my mail slot. So which supposedly indicates that they're filing an appeal, but I think it's like the preliminary paperwork before they actually had filed it. And so they could have theoretically just put those papers through a mail slot and then did not file them. But I'm still now just there's no word from the court on any kind of case numbers or anything. So I think it's, my guess is they're probably just hopefully trying to get rid of more tenants. I really don't think they have much justification. Okay. Has there been communication to the other tenants, encouraging them not to be scared by the appeal? There was like, we did have tenant meetings and stuff. I don't know if you watched that 2-hour long video that I made, but that should give you the idea about like the kind of tone of, I think for a bunch of tenants, like some tenants are, a lot of them are just so like fed up with it. They don't even really want to, well, I guess most of anyone who's still here now kind of knows what's up. They know it's just, they're just kind of like, I don't care anymore. Like if I have to move, I'll move. But they're just like gonna ignore that. Like they're fed up with not only the landlord, but also like all these activist organizations and tenant unions and other people in the building. And your video on where you ended up resonates with a lot of people. I can imagine it's not easy. Sharing your story, very knowledgeable, have lots ahead and potential in terms of life and career. Yeah, I think honestly it's to be honest, it is kind of easy for me to share. I don't really care. I think it's also useful for society to just illuminate like how crappy the situation is for a lot of people, because it's not just me living here. There's 60 some other people who got the same notice in this building, and this is not even the only building in the city this is happening to, and this is happening in other cities. And this landlord has like 10 properties he's doing this under, and this other landlords are doing this. And then of course all the, long list of grievances with the tech world. If we don't shed some light on these problems and talk about them, then they won't go away. Watching those videos about the renovation, it's been so crazy to me. I grew up in a house my parents bought. It was out of the German countryside. Just not aware anything like that is it's just happening. Yeah, I think it's it's been like a recent thing. I think there's been an escalation of just like nonsense and decay in society, and I think there's so much going on right now in the world that this is creating an opportunity for like predators to like perpetrate this, especially these like long-winded, hard to articulate kind of like civil warfare type activities. You can get away with it because if first of all, very few people will actually sit down and like describe the problem. Like, I don't know if you watched my 2-hour video update, if you watched the section about it's like an hour and a half in, I think, about the city council meeting where they talked about the variance application, and like that is, I think, a perfect microcosm of like there was so much effort and stress expended on that, and it was just such a complicated issue that totally didn't matter, and it sidetracked people from doing something that would actually be useful for them. And when you've got a complicated issue with that, like with a variance application, and then you watch the news about like what's going on in Iran right now, like nobody cares. Who cares about that kind of thing when there's even other like escalations domestically? Like, there's just so much chaos going on to try and get public attention on fixing the issues with the municipal zoning or municipal municipal variance application process. No one has the interest in thinking about it, or there's just not the attention for it. I think it's also there's a generational thing. Historically, I think it's been better to live in the cities, but I think it's becoming, the tide is turning, and cities are kind of like becoming a more of like an older, like extractive type of thing. Like if there's so many everyone, the government, all these private equity firms, they're trying to squeeze more money out of the system, and it's just more and more examples of like crazy injustices. Like there was a CTV thing on there was some condo owner had like a friend over, and then they ended up getting like, in a bunch of these condo places, they have like advanced surveillance in them now too. So they like tried to find this person, or like I think they find them or warned them because this person had a friend to visit in their condo that they own. They're not even renting it. And then the condo board like tried to sue them and said they were like violating this. They're not allowed to have friends over, or like they're violating, I don't know, some terms of conditions or something. And like technically, like it's if there was an actual noise complaint and the police are called, I can sympathize with it. But they're just kind of like the temperature, were like frogs being boiled. The temperature is just increasing, and it's starting to become absurd where you have stuff like that, where the price is going up, but the quality is going down, and there's just so many different ways to like scam you for a little bit more money. Like it used to be, like in this place, the leases are the original leases are everything included, but now they're splitting it out. Hydro is separate, water is separate. And of course now you gotta get insurance and stuff too. And and like parking was included, but now it's like it's extra and it costs like $250 a month, and it's just so many different ways to shake you down. Wasn't the variance where normally it's small change? They just had like a list of changes. I think vaguely remember that part. So the variance was really the variance. The gist of it was the variance was an unrelated thing, as far as I understand. The variance had nothing to do with the eviction process, but for somehow, like some people do have parking. And the implication, and another issue was, the landlord tried to raise people had contracts about how much their rent was, or how much their parking space cost, like $50 or whatever a month. And then the landlord tried to raise it to $250 a month and lock them out. And so there was, they took that to the tenant board, and my understanding is they won eventually. But for some reason, I saw it in an email correspondence that someone said the variance, they had to win the variance to win on the T2 application at the tenant board, which are totally different jurisdictions. But then maybe there was some justification with the zoning or something. But in hindsight, heard from another tenant that they won on the T2 at the tenant board for the parking issue, but we still lost on the variance. So the variance didn't even matter for the parking issue, and it definitely didn't matter for the eviction issue. And there was all these minutia of they're supposed to they were thinking about posting the sign more, and they went back and forth, and tenants talked about their legitimate grievances with not enough parking. And so the whole thing was just there's tons of details and analysis, but it completely doesn't matter. But we formed this tenant union. We're going to work together to fight the rent evictions, and then a bunch of people just ended up fighting this stupid parking variance that I don't even know why we fought that. I didn't. I posted a bit on my website, but yeah, it's just something to distract us, I guess. Read about cities. Moved with my wife to the countryside. Have an hour commute to work. As soon as we had the opportunity to leave, we did. It's great being a part of a small community. Feel valued. Yeah, I think that the case for cities, my current perspective is that cities make way more sense when you're younger. It was a good meeting place. I did meet, there's some, people that I still correspond with who I met at university in that environment. But here, when I go out and walk around, the environment here is just, it's changing. So there's just more and more random homeless people and stuff. When I was on campus, I think I remember I was on the bus around campus, and there was someone else on the bus who was talking about Vim commands, or assignments or courses and stuff. But around here, there's a random schizophrenic guy that walks around and always yells about the Germans and the Chinese and all kinds of nonsense. That's one of the familiar guys around here. It's old ladies. The immigration still seems like it's still having an impact here. So there's lots of new arrivals. They're not bad people, but it's hard to communicate with them. A lot of them just have young families. They're not really interested in talking about startups or something to random people. So my connection to the place is waning over time. All right. I guess I put in my hour tonight. I didn't get too much done. I guess that's the disadvantage of when there's more people coming to the stream. I get less work done. But I guess I got some. This was a very productive super chat night. All right, I guess I'll probably leave it there for tonight. So the next steps are I can create a random cuboid. I think I will I've got to figure out, I guess. I think the way it's currently, the in-memory chunks class works. I'll probably start off the test by I'll have to have a so in the mock client, I'll keep track of the enqueued requests. And that's going to happen asynchronously on the other thread. So I'll probably have to a lock synchronizing that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some flow control stuff, otherwise it'll deadlock. Great talking. Thanks for talking with all of us. Wishing you the best. Thank you very much. All right, have a good night, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for day 315. Later.